Evaluation. Professional speaker, he hangs out in Utrecht and Fusion, and he's here to give us a keynote speech. Welcome, Saby.
Dear Toastmaster, dear guest. Imagine it's the 16th century. You are in the kingdom of Britain, the big palaces, the king, the knights, the queen, everybody's sitting there. And there sits this old king who is on the verge of retirement. And he wants to distribute his wealth among his 3 daughters. But before he does that, he has one question that he asks all his daughters. Tell me, my daughters, how much do you love me? How much do I mean to you as a father? In today's world, I think he was asking for an evaluation. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about one of the most classic tragic book written by Shakespeare, play written by Shakespeare, The King Lear. This is the starting scene of King Lear, where King Lear asks his 3 daughters, how much do you love me? Since it's Shakespeare and I want to be very authentic, I'm going to read it from the notes. His first daughter comes, Garnier. She says, Sir, I love you more than the words can yield the matter, dearer than the eyesight, space, liberty, beyond what can be valued, rich or rare. No less than life with grace, health, beauty, honor. As a child or a father found. A love that makes breath poor and speech honorable. Beyond all manners of so much. King Lear was moved. Tears started rolling from his eyes. He was moved by the love that his daughter has. He looked at his second daughter, Regan. Regan entered and said, Sir, I am made of the self-same metal that my sister is, and the prize me at her worth. In my true heart, I find she names my deed of love. Only she is too short, that I profess myself to all other joy, which the most precious square of senses possesses. And find I am alone felicitate in your dear highness love. I'm sure you didn't understand what it meant, but King Lear did. He understood that his daughters truly love him. He was crying more. He was moved. He felt validated as a father. He looked at his third daughter, Cordelia, and asked, how much do you love me? Young Cordelia said, unhappy that I am, I cannot heave my heart into my mouth. I love you, Majesty, according to the bond, no more, no less. And there starts the tragic story of King Lear. King Lear was offended by that feedback from his third daughter, because he was expecting heaps of compliment. He was expecting the third daughter will also say how great father he is. But she gave a very lukewarm response. But do you think what she said meant he didn't love his father? She didn't love her father? How many of you think from that speech, Cordelia doesn't love her father? Please raise your hand. You think? And how many of you think she still loves her father? She loves her father as much as she does. So what was the difference? What made King Lear think that the daughter doesn't love? It's in his mind. It's in his mind. Through tradition, through years, King Lear is used to describe a person who when asked for feedback, asked for a response, only expects compliments, only expects good things, only expects you to tell great that person is, but is not ready to listen to an iota of criticism, is not ready to receive any negative feedback. Do you recognize such people? Do you meet such people in your family, at work, or even at Toastmasters? Raise your hand if you have ever met such people in your life. And Mia raised it immediately. Now, we all receive feedback at work. We have BILAs, we have end-of-year appraisals. We have lots of methods where your manager or supervisor gives you feedback during the year, the end of the year, during the course of the year. But have you had ever those kind of feedback where you felt belittled, where you felt hurt, where you felt disappointed after the feedback, that all the efforts, all the work, all the energy that I put into this work, I feel has gone down the drain, that has gone unnoticed? Have you ever felt that? Do you think the only way to change that feeling is by changing the manager or changing the job? Is there something you, I, us, the feedback receivers can do to change that? How many of you think that we have the power to change that? Please raise your hand. Today, we have a full day of how you can enhance your evaluation skills, how you can learn how to give better feedback. But the most important thing about feedback is receiving the feedback. If you are not willing to receive feedback, you can never give good feedback. Now, Toastmasters has this unique evaluation method where you give a speech, you get evaluated, and how many of you have ever felt really, really bad after an evaluation that's been done to you at Toastmasters? Mia again, the most first one to raise her hand. But is that often? That's not that often. So what is that in Toastmaster evaluation that makes your listening and feedback receiving useful and powerful? Now, I did some research and I thought, let me point out best ways of receiving feedback at work, personal space, like a Toastmaster can receive. And I came up with this 5 R's, which I would like to bring it forward to you. Can everybody see this?
Nope.
That's good, you need to only see me. I worked on this and found out the 5 R's, and that's I'm going to tick these things from my mind when next time I have an evaluation meeting with my manager. How does it work? And it is based on the simple Toastmaster evaluation rules. First thing, relation. What is that relationship that I have with that person who's giving me that feedback? And by relationship, I don't mean friends or partner. I mean, is he or she a manager? What is the interest that that person has when he or she is giving me feedback? Is the objective to improve me, improve the qualities in me, or to make me feel terrible? Raise your hand if you ever felt that an evaluator at Toastmaster is trying to pull you down through his or her evaluation.
What?
Raise your hand if you felt the objective of an evaluator at the Toastmaster meeting was to bring the best in you. So I assume that it was the evaluator and the style of speaking, but there was also something in your mind. You were ready to listen to the evaluator. You knew that person is going to help you. Your mind was already open. The second thing is the reason. Now, a lot of times we are told at work a good thing that we've done or something that we haven't done well, but we are not told the reason why. Now, when a compliment let's use it a compliment, is directed towards a person and the reason is not stated, it does not feel heartfelt. If I tell Mia today, Mia, you look so beautiful this morning. How do you feel, Mia?
Very appreciative. Thank you.
And if I tell you, Mia, you look so beautiful today, because of your smile, you bring the energy in the room that makes us all energetic at 10 a.m. in the morning. What does it make you feel?
Feeling all warm from the appreciation.
Now, she is the one who's going to evaluate me. That's why she is in charge of all these compliments. When somebody tells you that you are good at something or you're not good at something, make sure you ask the reason why. Why do you think that this quality is a quality, or what this thing that I've done wrong is actually a problem? Never forget to ask this question. Why? Recommendation. How many of you have ever received comments from your manager that you need to improve on the fact that you come late every day to work? And that's Didi, first one. How many of you have received comments that you need to be more organized at your work? What have you done with that comment? Have you left that there? Or have you asked your manager, can you please tell me how can I be more organized? Raise your hand if you have actually asked your manager, please tell me how can I be organized. And did he give you feedback on how to be more organized? And did it help?
Yeah.
Proof of pudding is in its eating, ladies and gentlemen. That's my proof that it works. The fourth thing is rationality. Whatever comments, feedback, compliments you get, one rule you must remember, and that is the rule of Toastmaster Evaluation, that it is the opinion of one person. There are people who speak like they're speaking on behalf of the entire company, but it's actually one person's opinion. In Toastmaster Evaluation, we stated time and again, in my opinion, according to me, this is what I think, so that a speaker never assumes that that the evaluator is speaking for all these 60 people in the audience. Even when your manager gives you feedback, you have to remember a large part of it is his personal opinion. And you must not think that the whole company, whole department has the same opinion, whether good or bad. Do you agree? Yes. And the last and most important thing is reaction. What do we do when an evaluator is standing on stage and giving you feedback? What do? You listen. You take notes. You nod in agreement. Yes, I agree with what you say. How do you think the evaluation will go when a Toastmaster comes on stage and starts saying, I like your speech, but you could do this better. And you stand up and say, you know what? I know better. This is not the right evaluation. And you start having an argument. Do you think that's a right environment to have an evaluation? So what is the ideal reaction to have when you are getting feedback at work? Listen. Listen. And remember, your non-verbal communication is very, very powerful. Even if you are not disputing, if you completely sulk, your energy drops, or you look with so much anger, you are provoking a reaction from the person who's giving you feedback. Most of the time, your manager or supervisor would have a list of things he or she wants to tell you. However, your reaction can channelize that into a better direction or a worse. That power is in your hand when you're receiving that feedback. Another golden rule about reaction is, when that evaluation is over, what do we do in Toastmaster? Sorry? We thank. What else? Have a beer? What else? Ignore it? What else?
Think about it.
Think about it. And what happens to the evaluators? They get evaluated. But at work, you don't have a general evaluator who is going to evaluate your manager or who is not listening to the whole evaluation. Be your own general evaluator and go to your manager at the end of the feedback session and give him more feedback. I did all these 5 things. Listen patiently. Try to think that his interest is to help me in my speech. I tried to ask for reasons. I tried to ask for recommendations. And in the end, I did give him a feedback. He asked me, "Do you have a feedback for me?" I said, "Yes. Your evaluation was sexy." Thank God it was a male manager, or else I would have been sent back to India. He looked puzzled. Sexy? Yes. It was specific, you explained, and you even illustrated. That makes it sexy. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a King Lear in all of us. There is a King Lear who loves to listen to compliment, who always wants to hear the good things, who wants to be appreciated. But that is not just evaluation or feedback. Sometimes, honest criticism is given to you not in a sugar-coated way, especially if you're living in Netherlands. But it's how you process that direct, candid feedback makes the whole difference. Because if you are a willing and receptive audience, you can also turn it around for your own benefit, through your own zeal, through your own attitude. And end of the day, it's your attitude, not your aptitude, that define your audience.